So I'm gonna try some backwards engineering here.
It works.
Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. I'm Handy Matt, and today we have another lawnmower right here. And down here we have another lawnmower. That's the parts lawnmower. So this is not my lawnmower, it belongs to somebody else, and I'm fixing it up to trade it with another lawnmower he has that's starting to have some problems. And that one's going to be a full blown out rebuild video because it's burning oil like nobody's business. So today our task is to very simply make this mower run. That way, swap it out and he can go about his business mowing grass, and I can fix the other lawnmower up and get it fixed up the right way, and we'll go from there. So I'm gonna get you guys set up on the bench and we'll get started. All right, so the symptoms I was presented with this mower were it does not start and it will not run. Well, I solved that this does not start already. Yeah, you kind of need a pull cord. So that's broken, but the donor mower has a part on it. Let's check the gas tank. Looks pretty dry. Smells like really old gas, which means the carburetor is probably varnished up pretty good. Let's check the oil situation. It's actually pretty clean looking. It's, oh well, maybe I should fix that. But the I did notice when I looked underneath, it does have a drain plug, surprisingly enough, but the drain plug is leaking. But we need to dive in here, and obviously we have to fix the pull start. So let's get this upper cover off. Those are deck screws. How creative. I'm not the first person to work on this thing, obviously. Okay, pull starter. Looks like I need one more plastic cowling to come off here. That's a nut driver. Is that a 1/4 inch? No, it's a 5/16. I think this part removes the fuel tank as well, because it looks like it's part of it. Try not to lose my fasteners here. Yeah, that's an integral part of the fuel tank, so I need a pair of pliers. Fuel line's over here, so I gotta get this fuel line off of here. Then I can take this whole assembly off. There's another bolt right there. Oh, how fancy. The hose clamp broke. That's alright, I got some spares somewhere. There's a little bit of fuel in there. At the very, very bottom. All this so I can get at the pull starter. Okay. Ooh. It's dripping fuel again. Set it so it doesn't leak no more. Alright, so we're not doing anything fancy today. Today we are just very simply going to see if we can get it started. Bracket here that holds the dipstick thing on. I gotta remove this whole entire metal cowling up here. This is a Briggs & Stratton. It doesn't show the horsepower on the label, but it looks very much like it's a 3.5 horsepower, which is very common for a 21-inch mower. I'm gonna get all my nut drivers out so I stop hunting them down. No, that was tight. Let me show you a trick that Craftsman has up their sleeve that a lot of people don't know about. There's the right one. That only works with screwdrivers. Check. Yeah. Anyway, with screwdrivers, not nut drivers, you can take a 15-16 inch wrench and get a little extra power. Doesn't work with the nut drivers they sell though. Go. That's really tight. Okay, we're going to replace the cord in there with the donor from the parts mower. Let's take a look at our magneto and our flywheel. I don't see any rust. Looks pretty clean. So I'm gonna go ahead on go with the assumption that that part is fine, even though that's typically a very common problem with a mower that's been sitting for a while. Let's take a look at spark plug. Got a little bit of carbon on it. Not terrible, but a little wire brushing. If I can find my wire brushes. Fix that up. Where did I put those? There we go. So, clean that up. Gap looks fine. There's a little bit of oil in there. That could indicate some issues, possibly. Or it could just be wet from some fuel sitting in there. But it kind of looks like oil. We shall see. Alright, we're going to call that part good to go. Alright, the governor thing seems to be working pretty good. Let's take a look behind the air cleaner. It's got a mouse nest in it. Get rid of that. We got going on here. So this thing does not have a primer bulb on it, so it must be one of those new modern carburetors that magically work. I'm trying to decide right now if I should take the carburetor off and clean it, or if I should just go ahead and see if it'll start. I think I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with put a new pull cord on it and assume that that was the actual problem. And go from there. Because all I have to do is get this thing running. And running good. And then get it off to this young man and he can drop off the other mower. So this is the part where having a third arm with two hands on that third arm come in handy. Alright, I got to get the old cord out of here, and I don't want to disassemble this unless I'm absolutely forced to. Alright, so these little engagers come out just fine. So I got to get this little cord out of here. Let's see how much of it is left inside. Oh, that's coming out easy enough. Well, it looks like all of it was left inside. Yeah, well, it broke off. So what you got to do is you got to wind this thing up, and where's the hole? This one past it. Right here is where the end of the cord goes through, right? And where you pull it from is right there. And you want to wind this thing up as tight as you dare go and line those two holes up. and then stick the end of the new cord through there, and basically tie a knot in the end of it right here, and then let this thing spin like that to wind it up, and you're good. So I'm gonna turn the camera off for a little bit. I'm gonna go rob the pull cord off this other mower, and I'll bring you guys back in just a second. All right, I got my part robbed off the other mower. We'll get to that in a second. I'm gonna wind up. I think my neighbor needs a new muffler in his truck. I'm gonna wind this thing up, and I've done this a bunch of ways. I've stuck screwdrivers in here to hold it, done a bunch of things, but since I'm trying to video at the same time, I got a bolt and some washers. So I need to wind this thing up just as tight as it'll go. Let's go in the wrong way. Now we go this way. That's about it. So the hole for the cord to come out is right there, and the hole for it to go into this spool right here is right there. So I need to get this thing stopped off at about the right spot. So I think right here is where a good spot to put the bolt through. So I just got a 1/4 and a couple washers. Let's try right there. Nope, not a good spot. There's a good spot right there. It's almost perfectly lined up. Actually, I couldn't have asked for it to be more lined up than it is right now. Okay, so that's ready for installation. Here's the donor part, and really simple to get it out. This mower, this is coming off of a mower that's junk. It's the engine is seized up so badly it's beyond repair. So I'm just going to rob parts off of it. So just cut the knot off the end there, and then pull your cord out. This can go in the trash. No, actually, no, I'll keep this because there's nothing wrong with it. I might run into another Kohler engine that needs it. I am gonna, next video, I'm gonna go through the process of salvaging parts off of it and kind of tell you guys what parts I'm saving, why I'm saving them. So now I got to go through this hole right here and then into the spool. There we go. Now, what kind of knot do you tie here? Well, you could simply tie an overhand knot, just like this. That would work. But how about a knot that actually works a lot better? And that is a figure-8 knot. And you just go like this. And the reason why I choose a figure-8 knot is because when you pull it tight, the part right here that's going to seat against here and prevent it from passing through that hole is a lot larger, and it's more of a 90-degree angle to the actual pull cord. So I go with figure-8s. Now this tail does not need to be this long at all, so I will trim it back. Pull it through here. Get it tucked in there. And at this point, I can take my bolt out. To control things, I'm just going to hold the cord on this side so it doesn't get away from me. And we'll get that bolt out of there. And we'll just let it go ahead and wind the cord up. Just like that. It's ready to go. All right, let me get you guys moved over a little bit. Put this mower back together and see if it starts. And if it starts, we're good to go. And the young man who's mowing everybody's grass in the neighborhood is back in business with 2 mowers, but he can drop his other mower off and I can fix the oil burning issue. So I want to move you guys over. Give me a second and we'll get set back up. All right, let's put this thing back together and see if we can make it run. All right, so here's the assembly that we just fixed. Really dirty, but I'm not doing nothing more than I have to until I know it runs. So we just got to get her in here. So he's got to slide in here a little bit. Okay. See if I can remember which bolts go where. All right, these 2 go on the back. These 2 longer ones here. They go right here. That should have been a 3/8, I think. Yeah, 3/8. There's my 3/8. I'm actually pretty hopeful this thing will start. But if it doesn't, that means the next weak link in the chain is going to be the carburetor. And that's not too hard to take off and clean up. Oil dipstick tube back in the right spot. Okay. 1, 2, 3 for 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I got the right number of bolts, I think. What am I missing here? I'm missing something. I got my wood screws for putting the top cowling back on. Air cleaner's got its screw still attached in here. Is this where these go? Oh, yeah. The reason why they're like that, they got the extra shoulder on there, is because that fuel tank has to go on here next. Yeah. Fuel tank. All right, so now you guys get to see something. I gotta change the angle here so you guys can see what I'm doing. I couldn't find, I thought I had a bunch more, what do you call it? Hose clamps. I didn't have any. So we're gonna make one. We're gonna make it out of this wire right here. So I just took a bunch of this small wire and I wrapped it around a piece of metal that's round. And I'm going to slide it over the fuel hose here. Get that in place first. Then we'll get the I gotta put one of these bolts in really quick. The one that holds the dipstick on. If you hear any buzzing in the background, it's hummingbirds. I've got 3 pairs so far this year that are on my feeders and in the trees around my front yard. Last year I had 5 pairs, confirmed pairs, but it looked like there was probably a lot of transients coming through, so we'll see how this year goes for hummingbirds. Okay, so fuel tank on. That's still, where's my towel? Still dripping a little bit of fuel. Put this down here to catch that. Let's get this fuel tank in the right spot. Put these bolts back in. Here. Mosquitoes are starting to come out. Okay. That's in the right spot. Will this pull cord fit through here? Indeed it will. We gotta take care of mosquitoes though. They're starting to bug me a little bit. So let's get a coil up for them. Try to smoke them out of here. I really wish that these coils were sold here in the States. I brought these from Japan 5 years ago. Almost 5 years ago, because I knew they didn't sell them here in the States. Well, actually they do. They sell like little mini coils that are like I think 5 hours each, and you can get 5 coils for $7, $6.99 or $5.99 depending on where you go. And these cans I got about in Japan. These are actually made in Malaysia, then exported to Japan. They come with 50 coils, and every coil is a 12-hour coil. So you got 50 12-hour coils, and I bought, before I left Japan, I bought 18 of these cans for the equivalent of $5.50 each. Yeah. This is why tariffs are important. As long as they're all 10% each across the board with every single country. As long as they're fair. 10% everywhere. I'm going to do a double-ended burn on this one. So I'll start both ends of the coil. Can you guys even see what I'm doing? Wasn't paying attention there. Anyway. That middle one's not quite going yet. Alright, that'll help knock back the mosquitoes and make them feel like they're not welcome anymore. Which they're never welcome, actually. But okay, so we're doing the fuel line right now. Okay, so pop that fuel line back on here, and we'll take this clamp that I'm making out of wire, and I'm going to carefully pull back on both ends of it and get it as tight as I can just by pulling with my hands. Then we'll start a small twist. Just a couple turns, maybe one more. And we'll take a pair of these special pliers that are meant for this type of thing, and we'll clamp her on there. The wire I have right now, I can't, yeah, there we go. I don't grip it too tight, but that's tight enough. Okay, next. Let's finish putting it back together. Let's knock some more dust out of this here air filter. I got most of it out of there already before. Put her back in here. You know, I'm gonna leave this off right now, just in case I need to put a shot of ether in there. Might not be required, or needed, but we shall see. I'm not gonna put this back on either. I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing off the bench, out in the driveway, and move the camera over, and we'll see how many pulls it takes to get her started. Man, there's a lot of junk on here. Be a good servant with the things that have been provided for you. Take care of your equipment, and you won't have problems like this. I can promise you that. All right, moving over. All right, now we know it runs. Does it run great? No, not quite. You guys probably saw me playing with the governor a little bit, and I have a sneaking suspicion it's not the carburetor. It could still possibly be a dirty carburetor, but I was playing with that because I wanted to see what it was doing, and it seems like the blade being severely off balance is causing most of the rough running. So I'm going to attack that first tomorrow. I'm not going to do any of that on camera, but today we're going to go ahead and just finish buttoning this thing up, and then tomorrow, well, I'll sharpen and balance the blade. I got videos of doing that already, so you guys can go watch that if you want to learn how to do it. So air cleaner goes back on, and top cowling goes back on. We've got to thread the pull starter through it here. We'll do a clip on top. Okay, there we go. And we'll go back and we'll use the good old-fashioned deck screws hold it on. So apparently they work just fine. I gotta find the right place to put it. That seems to be the right place. And where's that T25 at? There it is. Got one more bolt to put back on. It's the one that holds the bottom of the fuel tank in the correct orientation. Then all the way up here on the handle, I'm going to get the pull cord through. And tighten this down. There we go. We got a running mower. Now there's a few more things I'm going to do to this. I'm going to test it out a little bit. First I'm going to sharpen and balance the blade and make sure that that is actually the problem that's making it run a little bit rough. And if I need to, I'll clean the carburetor, but I made a video on that already, so I'm not going to make any more videos on that at the moment. Maybe in about 6 months I'll do another one, but right now we got a runner. And this young man who's been mowing grass around my neighborhood for a couple years has a backup mower, and he can drop off the one that has the real issues, and he actually wants to jump in and learn how to fix it. So yeah, we'll see how that goes, but right now we're good. I'll mow my grass tomorrow with this thing to make sure I got all the kinks worked out of it, and off we go to the races. Thanks for watching. Best way to support this channel, hit that share button, hit the join button. What's the other buttons too? Oh yeah, there's a like button down there, and you can drop a comment. I don't care. Do what you got to do. If you like my videos, you'll do what you feel is best in your heart. Anyway, that's it for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Laters.